Welcome to Crypto Conspiracy, the podcast where we dare to explore the shadows of the crypto world. In a realm where fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye, and where the lines between innovation and deception blur, we delve into the stories and secrets that others dare not touch. Join us as we peel back the layers of conspiracy, uncovering the truth behind the hype, the scams, and the hidden agendas that shape the future of digital finance. Prepare to question everything, because in the world of crypto, nothing is quite what it seems. Let's dive in and uncover the real story behind the crypto revolution.
Hello and welcome to the conspiracy theories in crypto. Today we have our co-hosts with us. Welcome, co-host.
Hey, this is Canada the Great. Thank you for joining us today on the show. This is going to be a great episode. This is about the children, so pay close attention.
And this is GCI Mech, and happy to be here and spread the word about privacy and freedom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got a big topic on hand today, and it's a conspiracy theory that has gone on since the moment we started fighting 15 years ago. Right? That's privacy. Crypto needs to have privacy. Everything you do needs to have privacy. When you go to sleep at night, you lock your doors because you want privacy, right? So we're going to talk about all the ways that privacy will be affecting your children. Okay, so the conspiracy theory for today is with no privacy, your children will be slaves. With no privacy, your children will be slaves, and we're gonna get into the intricacies of that. If you do not agree, please come up and tell me why you don't agree. Uh, but certainly, a, a world without privacy could lead to the future where all your children will be slaves. So and that's my opinion. I would love to hear your opinions. Um, but that's something that people are forgetting why we came to crypto, right? When we started crypto 15 years ago, we thought Bitcoin was private. Most of us thought Bitcoin was a privacy currency. And then after a while, these exchanges started, asking people for their KYC information, and we realized it wasn't. But then the mainstream media took Bitcoin. They saw how amazingly transparent it was, and they said, "Wow, we could use this. This is better than the banking system. We don't even have to call people up to know how much money they got in their wallet. We could just see. We don't need to call people up to ask them what they spent their money on because we can see it right here from inside the bank
That's
at
just
the
handy.
desk. Yeah, no permissions necessary from the users. We just see everything you're doing without your permission. It's a beautiful banking coin. Bitcoin is a beautiful banking coin, right? A lot of people out there say, "Oh, Bitcoin has a finite supply. You have no idea what you're talking about." Well, does it really have a finite supply? Did they just create an ETF that created another duplicate supply, another 21 million coins? Now they have futures, another duplicate. I mean, I'm not even talking about the wrapped Bitcoin on all these platforms, right? When you wrap a coin, you have to duplicate the supply. Now you have another 21 million on every single, add all those 21 millions up, and you'll start understanding that Bitcoin is not a finite supply. Why? Why could they, like, what allows them to do that? Well, the fact that it's transparent. It's a transparent coin. You see, you can ask any developer if that's possible on Pirate, and they're going to tell you that's impossible because it's hard to verify any transaction without the user's permission. So they couldn't make an ETF out of Pirate. You cannot duplicate the supply. You cannot make pretend coins of Pirate. You can't make fake coins out of Pirate. You can't make tainted coins out of Pirate. No Pirate coins can be tainted. Right? If somebody says that your coin is tainted, that's a tyrant trying to control the supply of the money. So without privacy, you're going to get what you see today: manipulation, corruption, people trying to take the chain for themselves, making pretend it's theirs, government, right? So we're going to have to take it back, guys. This is a war. And we've been fighting a war a long time. A lot of you guys come into crypto and you think this is a game, some type of casino. We're not playing games here. And crypto is here to get rid of the banking system completely. Right? The slogan was "Be your own bank."
And let me just read something about the children. I This hit me hard when I read it because I've been focused on privacy in financial area, but really when I read this, it made me realize that privacy is in all areas of our lives. We need privacy. Privacy isn't about hiding wrongdoings. It's about the right to grow and change. Privacy gives us the right to grow and change. Children need space to make mistakes, explore identities, and evolve without permanent judgment. And that's what society is already has. If you make a couple mistakes in your younger years and you get a record, you're screwed. You're affected for the rest of your life. And they want to just hit the gas on that and completely put us all underneath the microscope from day one. And we can't live like that because we're humans. Humans make mistakes and we grow from our mistakes and we change. And without privacy, we're not able to do that. And it's a scary, 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 scary thing that they want us to go into. And that's where I'm at every day. I'm on the front lines of this war. I understand this war. A lot of people don't even know there is a war. But I'm on the front lines of this war every day, and it's very, very complicated. And when you got your money involved in it, you really need to be safe. And so, Pirate Chain, that's how I found Pirate Chain because I wanted to get into crypto, but I wanted to get into it slow because I like to read everything, and I wanted to be safe. So I found Pirate Chain, and that gave me the ability to enter crypto and then chill for a little while I got past the learning curve. So privacy is a big thing in our lives.
Yes, sir. And I'm just going to go over some bullet points, guys. Without privacy, every aspect of your child's life, from their online activities to their physical movements, can be monitored. This constant surveillance allows authorities to control and influence their behavior from a young age, shaping them into compliant subjects. Right. So, if you like some examples of that, all the commercials your kid sees during watching YouTube's, uh, that's a way to shape their thoughts, right? Television, if your kid likes to watch regular TV programming, television programming, right? It's called programming for a reason, right? It's programming your child, right? It's programming you. Every other commercial is a drug commercial. At some point in time, the rule of seven kicks in for marketing, and you start thinking you need those drugs. You start saying, "Wait a minute! My ears are always itchy. It looks like that drug will stop the itch, right? I might need that, right?" And then that's when you come into more problems, right? You end up having more problems by taking those things. So yeah, it's all programming. On top of behavioral conditioning, guys. So behavioral conditioning data collected on children can be used to create detailed profiles that predict and manipulate their future actions. Algorithms can be employed to condition them to accept certain norms and reject dissent, ensuring they grow up to be obedient citizens. All right. So, and then you start wondering, how a lot of kids end up so confused and, end up shooting people on rooftops. This is how it's done. It's called behavioral conditioning. They condition the behavior of the child, and that's something every parent needs to watch out for, right? Because every single person your child goes next to is somebody that they're going to learn something from, even if you don't want them to. Just being next to them, they will pick it up. Right? They will pick up their movements, their actions, their morals, everything. All right. So if you have bad teachers for your children, you need to examine them. You need to look them over. Do an interview with them and make sure that they are somebody that you can consider something good in your child's life. You know that where they won't try to condition the child's behavior to say, "Oh, rainbow flags are okay," or things that you wouldn't want your child to think is okay, because it's your child. You have the right to train them however you like so that they could be more like you and not like somebody else. Right? There's educational manipulation. Right? Educational manipulation, guys. The educational systems can be tailored to reinforce the state narrative with children's learning experiences curated to instill specific ideologies and values. Any deviation from the approved curriculum identified can be quickly identified and corrected. You see, so they're following their programs, right? The educational programs. I personally have my own programs in place for my child that he has to do daily. Right? I think he's doing fractions. He's only 5. Social engineering. Right? There's a lot of social engineering going on in the social media platforms that they use. This is why you need to keep your kids away from social media. Right? Children's social interactions can be monitored and influenced, just like the way they're watching YouTube. With peer groups and friendships engineered to reinforce desired behaviors. This social engineering ensures that children are surrounded by like-minded individuals, minimizing exposure to alternative viewpoints. You see, so say your kid does something, embarrassing, whatever it might be, that's they're going to be they're we see a lot of kid suicides going on in schools right now because they put something embarrassing or somebody else put something embarrassing about them on social media, and these poor kids, they don't know, they get laughed at. You don't know, it's abuse. It's literal abuse from the other kids, right? And when the children don't see it, it leads to a more horrible event. And so your kids' privacy on social media, number one, there's no such thing. You keep them off, right? Don't be putting your children on social media. Don't let them use it. There is no such thing as privacy on social media. End of story. I don't care what kind of settings they give you. I don't care what kind of it's private. No matter what they say, it is not private. Okay, do not. It's a big red flag. Do not let your kids next to social media.
It's fake privacy is what they're trying to push. Fake privacy.
Yeah,
GCI?
they're trying to convince you that a level of security is privacy. Right? Just like Zcash is trying to convince you that a level of security is pure privacy. It is not. Right?
That's fake.
Yeah, it's unless it's private by default, you don't have privacy. All right, somebody else can still see it. You don't have privacy.
You can't be half pregnant and pregnant. You know what I'm saying? No, excuse me. You can't be not pregnant and pregnant at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's not private.
It's either the ball's in the hoop or it's not.
What was
So
that, GCI?
Well, pretty soon they're gonna want all of our information on a blockchain. Uh, like Cardano or whatever, and we're definitely gonna be a cashless society at some point. So chains like private or like pirate chain are going to be very important.
yep, health, your health and biometric data. Right. So your health data, guys, when you go to the doctor, access to your children's health and biometric data allows for the enforcement of public health policies, such as mandatory vaccinations and health screenings. This data can also be used to identify and address undesirable traits or conditions, further controlling your child's development. Not you, but them, right? So you got to be aware of who has your child's information. And a good tip for you guys is to go to your doctor, your children's doctor, and ask them for all the records that they have on your child. And I need you to do that immediately. Okay, if you do not have the records of all the things the doctors have done to your child, you need to go get them. And you need to file them away in your locale filing cabinet. And that's what you need to do. And if you don't do that, you need to do that today. Okay, because one day the records are going to disappear And if something happens to your child, there will be no proof. And I'm living proof of that. Okay, the doctors lost my medical records, and after 10 years, they said that they're allowed to delete it. They were allowed to throw my records in the garbage after 10 years. Okay, and some of these problems they arise after 10 years. Most of them do, I would say, especially the shots that people get. Okay,
So us fighting in this war today is not only helping us, but it's helping our children's and grandchildren's.
that's right.
It's a
Well,
big deal.
it is a big deal, right? So you don't want what's happening now. It's going to be even worse for our children. Right? They won't. They're going to be told what to take for every little ailment. Where we do have a society of freedom-minded people out there that have lots of alternatives to the issues that are out there. The problem is that no doctor will will comply. No doctor will agree with you ever on anything that's alternative to the book that they read and what they studied, right? Because they have an agenda. They will lose their license. And not even if they do agree with you and they tell you to take something not part of their script, they will lose their license. And that's why doctors cannot be trusted. Okay, so go to your doctor, go get your children's medical records as soon as possible, and go file them away at home. Right, you need those. Right, and keep everything local. Once I told you once that ownership is important. Right, you need to own everything, including documents, your child's medical documents.
Not your keys, not your coins.
You know, their children will grow up in financial enslavement. As children grow older, their financial activities can be tracked and controlled, ensuring they remain dependent on the system. This financial surveillance can limit their economic freedom and opportunities. Keep them in this. It'll keep them in the state's perpetual servitude. Is that what you want? Is that what you want for your child? Do you want them to be servants? And there's nothing wrong with that if they enjoy what they're doing. But if they don't, do you want them to be servants? So psychological manipulation of the children. Okay, there's psychological manipulation of the children. Children's emotional and psychological states can be monitored and manipulated through the use of wearable devices and smart home technologies. This allows for the early detection and suppression of any signs of rebellion or independent thought. Right, so those devices you're wearing on your arm that monitor your heart rate tells them when you get angry, tells them when you're upset, tells them when you're having sex. You understand, guys? Why those are a bad idea? Right? No monitoring devices at all. End of story. Unless you could prove that it runs only local to you and the information's not going out to data brokers and your kid's information is getting sold as statistics. Okay? So be aware of what is happening to your children by using these devices. Digital identity. A lot of people pumping the digital identity, right? In order to get a driver's license, you need to sign up for the real ID, because the one you have is fake. So you have to sign up for a real ID, because
Real,
I don't know,
real one.
the real one, yeah, the real one. Because, the one you've had your whole
The
life,
real.
that's fake.
That was fake. Yeah, my fake. Yeah.
So here in New York, there's no getting a license without a real ID, and that just goes to show you the level of tyranny that's happening. Uh, I mean, technically, the name you also have is on paper is fake. So that's it. That's all for another day. Uh, so parental control. Parents who resist the system can have their children taken away or subjected to re-education programs. This ensures,
Re-education.
yep, re-education. Well, and that's all these speech therapy that's going on, guys, with children these days. You see that they all go to speech therapy or some other bullshit therapy. That's what that is. Okay, if you haven't figured it out. Like, oh, your child is, he's too crazy. He's out of control. He needs some therapy. The kid is thinking for himself. You don't like going to school. He don't like you. Maybe you should try to find a way for him to like you and listen to you. That's what a good teacher would do. Anyway, so yeah, this ensures that even those who try to protect their children from surveillance are ultimately powerless to do so. Right. So think about where they're going to work in the future. Where are your children going to work in the future, guys? Do you have a plan for your children? By conditioning children from a young age, the state can ensure a future workplace that is compliant, predictable, and easily controllable. This workforce will be unable to question authority or seek meaningful change, perpetuating the cycle of servitude. Your children will. Go
Because this is real valuable information you're giving us right now. Because life is already too hard for us. We're busy living our lives, trying to make everything meet,
Right. And
and we
here's a,
really don't see. We really don't see what. We really don't see what our kids are being hit with. We really don't. So bringing awareness to that, I want to thank you. This is a great topic.
no, they will experience the loss of individuality, right? So, without privacy, children are denied the opportunity to develop their individuality and personal identity. They are instead molded into standardized citizens, each a cog in the machine of the state. There's no safe spaces for your children. With no privacy, there'll be no safe space, and so children will have no safe space, whether physical or digital, where they can express themselves freely or explore their identities without fear of scrutiny or punishment, which goes back to what I was telling you guys. You know, the kid that wears the mohawk, will be laughed at, and maybe, or maybe they'll like him, but you get the point. They do something silly, it stays with them, and the classmates see it, and there's no safe space, right? So, I think that's up to the parents, guys. So you need to create a safe space at home for your children. You need to communicate with them. You need to talk to them about the hard things in life, right? I always tell my son, anybody goes next to your people, you tell daddy, and you tell them that daddy will come and kill them. Literally, I will go there. If you touch my child, I will kill you. You know? That sounds crazy, but that's any father would think like that. Okay, that's not crazy, right? You mess with the cubby bear, Papa Bear will come running, right? You better fear the bear. The bear will come for you. And so,
That's right. That's how you got to be with your kids. I'm a shark. I'm anything I have to be when it comes to my kids. I'm telling you right now, I am anything I'll do anything I have to do for my kids.
that's right.
That's the way I
But
am in my heart.
but I want people to make sure they have that hard conversation with their children, right? A lot of parents don't like to talk about that. You need to talk about it to them first before
Oh
somebody
yeah.
else does. Before somebody else does. Okay, guys? And make sure you. It's an uncomfortable topic. I have children, I know, but you need to talk to them about it before somebody else does. Okay? Intergenerational control. Okay, this is another bullet point, guys, on why privacy is important. Intergenerational control. The loss of privacy ensures that the control extends across generations, with children internalizing the surveillance and passing it on to their own offspring, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of servitude. Right? So, and you have to wonder, is that what's happening to us now, guys? Did that happen to us? All right. Why are we working for all these corporations? Why aren't there more mom and pop shops, people running their own businesses? Right? That's kind of happening right now, guys. Our generation was told to go out and work for corporations, while the generation before us opened their own businesses. Somehow the media convinced many parents that it was better to work for a company than it was to open up your own business and be innovative and give back to the world instead of being a leech and having a job that you most likely are going to hate at some point. because nobody likes to be told what to do. That's a fact. That's every human. It's not just me. I say it all the time. But yeah, nobody likes to be told what to do. Okay? And in an environment where people are not told what to do, that's the one that shines. It's the one that does the best because everybody's doing what they want to do, and what they want to do is usually something great. You also have the erosion of human rights. So without privacy, right? Everybody's supposed to have a right to privacy. I believe that's written down somewhere.
I got a question. Do we actually have true privacy, financial privacy right now today?
Absolutely
Do
not.
you? Do we? Does any of y'all? I like to really. It's a serious question because I don't. I was born under the system that gives us zero privacy.
Yeah. I
So
think we
really,
all
what we're
are.
fighting for right now, we're fighting for actual, true, actual financial privacy for the first time in any one of our lives. That's essentially what we're fighting for right now.
We're fighting to take it
And I
back,
think,
at least.
take it back. We ain't never had it. We've always been under microscope,
I believe
monitored by third, fourth, 600 parties.
I believe there was
Well,
a time where gold and silver was treasured. You know, so but
yeah,
that was
well,
long ago.
even really in the it didn't really start till like the 70s and stuff when they started, implementing all the different monitoring procedures for anti-money laundering and stuff at the banks. Prior to that, it was very, there was no systems in place for them to really track down stuff. But it was, after the whole, at least in the United States, after the whole mafia heyday in the 50s and 60s, they really, went, um, you know, hard, after tracking the money.
Right.
Um, After that, it just kept getting worse and worse. But, there wasn't really, I guess, so much in our lifetimes, but maybe our grandparents' lifetimes, there was at least some measure of privacy. People used cash. There was no credit cards. Those didn't even come around really to what the 80s or 70s or 80s. And even then, maybe some people here remember like there was no machine. You actually slid your card in. They took your card and they put it on a piece of like carbon paper, and they had the had this like press thing that they swiped it, and it basically had to turn in all those documents at the end of the day. That for those who might remember that,
Ah,
it
bro,
was like,
I used to fix those zebra printers with the carbon paper, bro. It was so annoying. I used to fix thousands of those stupid zebra printers.
yeah, those kept those were around. Like I remember them phasing out. I was a kid, so the '90s they started really going all digital. But yeah, so um, there was a time period and it wasn't you know outside of living memory, at least for some people's living memory, that we did have some measure of financial privacy, but under the guise of protecting people and stopping crime, they really went overboard, especially after 2001 and the whole Patriot Act and counterterrorism financing stuff with collecting every single piece of information. There was a time where you could buy stocks and stuff like literally over the phone without submitting any KYC or no background checks or anything. But after 2001, that all changed, and then never, unfortunately, just kept getting worse and worse over the decades.
Yeah, and you could say that. I mean, I personally believe that that's what killed all mom and pop businesses out there. There's none left. It's there's no way to make money without somebody else stealing more money from you, right? Back in the day, cash wasn't so monitored, right? Everybody was dealing in cash. I remember my father, literally on Christmas, like stacks of fucking cash on the table. It was awesome. But you don't see that anymore. That's like that's an old that's an now it's all credit cards and digital numbers, right? Uh, it's very rare to see a cash business anymore, except unless you go to Chinatown. They're still taking care. They're still the smart ones. Uh, but yeah,
Rural areas, rural areas like where I live, we've got a lot of mom and pops here. The city I live in locked out all the big box stores from our city. I mean, it's a cash economy where I live, which is great.
Where's
nice,
that? Where's that at?
Ohio,
Cool. Good to know.
nice. Yeah, I mean, cash is still probably way better option than Bitcoin at this point.
Even
Even
even sorry, Lutz, even your credit card is better than Bitcoin. They need warrants and things like that to actually go in and see your credit history. But with Bitcoin, I mean, once you know someone's wallet or IP address, it's game over. You can see everything.
Yeah, so if you guys are trading Bitcoin and into Bitcoin or have a hard on for Bitcoin, understand that you're still trading fiat. It's still fiat money, right? Unless you want to trade gold and silver. If you guys want to trade gold and silver, that's real money. If you're a Ron Paul fan, you'll know that. You're gonna get into Pirate Chain, right? Because Pirate Chain is the only digital identical system to gold and silver. It's the only chain that gives you fungibility. It's a factor that gold and silver have, but Bitcoin don't.
Hey,
Bitcoin is not
what I
fungible.
think, what I think is going on is a major illusion. Is what everybody believes Bitcoin is in their hearts and minds is actually what Pirate Chain is.
Well, they got to talk to the old school like me that have been here for 15 years watching Bitcoin, right? When it first started, yeah, man, we loved it. We thought it was private money, right? It's not that anymore. Now they're trying to convince people to use it, right? And we know why. It's all controlled. There's no getting away from this fiat, guys, unless you start using gold and silver. Right? I don't care if you use the physical stuff, but that's real. That's what you want to trade. Something that actually has value and doesn't have man-made value, like the Fed pumping out tons of fiat bills, and you're sitting there as your money decreases in value every goddamn day. Like, why would you even buy into a system that hurts you?
Robbery. Robbery. It's essentially robbery.
It hurts you. Not on top of the fact that everything's getting more expensive. So the value of the dollars in your pocket right now are going down as we speak because it's an inflationary model of money, right? Where pirate is a finite supply, and nobody is copying it. Nobody's making more of it, and on top of it,
200 million.
on
200
top,
million.
that's
It's
it.
200 million or
And there's only
that's
two
it.
percent left to be mined. Okay, so
And Canada stole a bunch. So might as well drop those off.
right, and now Komodo said something that made me very happy. They're
What?
they're they're moving towards a deflationary setup as well. So the coins getting made will be burned, so it will always be neutral. It'll be net neutral, and it will. There won't be more coins being pumped into the environment where demand can't meet the flow, which is what happens with most of these coins that have never-ending coins that keep getting made with no demand behind it. So Komodo will be a deflationary coin as well, which is very exciting for people that are holding it. On top of the fact that the people holding it at some point will become miners themselves. They are implementing a proof of stake setup. Not a fan myself, but it doesn't matter because Komodo was never a privacy coin. What Komodo brings to the table, the bread and butter, is its exchange. It's decentralized exchange. All right, but we're gonna stay away from that word DEX, and I want you guys to stay away from it too. Okay? Because once people hear DEX, they don't want to use it anymore. It's like a stigma. marketing. Okay, so stop using the word DEX. Call it what it is. It's an exchange. Right? Once you get used to using it, you will see you will never need another centralized exchange ever again. And once Komodo has in wallet trading where you could trade directly from your phone, why would you ever think of logging into an old website and giving some stranger your information, picture, license, social security, God knows what else they're asking for? Then why would you do that when you could just open up your Komodo wallet, boom, 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 make a trade, done deal, done. All right, that's the future, guys. That's what Komodo brings to the table. That's why they got kicked off of exchanges. All right, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Firo, Ergo, Komodo, all kicked at the same time. What do they have in common? Go look it up. All right, we spoke about it last week. Go look it up. And I'm sure that there's more that I haven't found that have built-in exchanges. Right, they're cutting the head off the steak before it could grow. Right, but
Hey,
you
you
know,
don't think it's a good idea to say uh Dex against, because they're saying CEX? Why can't we just everybody keep them from getting confused and say DX? I don't understand what you're saying by that, Captain.
yeah, just when you're talking to people and you tell them about Komodo, don't explain it as a DEX. Don't even say the word DEX. It's just it confuses. It's confusing. Just call it an exchange. That's it. Because it's a decentralized. It's there. The word is in the word exchange. That's what it is. We need to
That
compete, and the only way we're going to compete with other exchanges is by calling ourselves an exchange. All right, and then we bring the fight to them.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
They love the fact that we use the word DEX. They love it because people stay
Hey,
away from that
we're
word.
just regular. Hey, we're just regular, real people talking about this stuff, and it's great, 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 great.
Yeah, so we got to think of it from all point of views, guys. From a marketing point of view, I can tell you that it's not a good idea to say that. But DEXs are going to save us. If you truly understand what a decentralized exchange is, and you start getting into the intricacies of it, and you've heard Polly talk about it in past episodes. If you want, we do have the YouTube. Go check out the YouTube and go watch the past episodes and start learning from the old school. And me and Polly, we've been here. I've been here probably as long as him. Uh, we have people even older than us in the community. Right? Go way back. And these are the people you want to listen to. You don't want to go out there and start listening to those degenerates that are yelling out all kinds of names. Barge coin and fart coin and Trump coin. That none of those technologies do anything for you. They're not giving your child privacy. They're not securing your child's future. You're enslaving your children by promoting things that enslave children. Okay, we got
It's a
10
big
minutes
deal.
left.
Big deal.
If people don't understand yet, but they will. They will. And I know it sounds harsh. Sounds harsh saying with no privacy your children will be slaves. Sounds harsh. But am I wrong?
No, you're not.
That's today's
Well, every
conspiracy theory.
generation is just getting enslaved more and more.
Yeah, yeah. And whose
Not if
children will
we
they become?
win this war.
Are
Not if
they
we
yours?
win. We
Are they
still in this fight, and the market make the one. Excuse me. The exchanges that have been dominating the crypto market. Listen to me. Let me say that again. The exchanges that have been dominating the crypto market for these past few years are scared shitless of us right now because they can't stop us. They have no answer for it, what we're doing.
they don't have a better solution than us. That's what it
They
is.
have no answer. Yeah.
Because
So
their,
we're gonna
so,
win this war.
'cause their solution always involves banks, always involves complying with tyrants, right? Not complying with your fellow man. Going to your neighbors, asking them what they want. Wouldn't that be nice? But no, it's they all have an agenda, guys. There's somebody up there trying to make money off your ass. All right. Those centralized exchanges, they're manipulating you. They know you don't think that they can see the money coming in before you do. You don't think that somebody in the background is going to act on the fact that somebody's going to dump, $1 million in Bitcoin. They're not going to act on it when they see an opportunity because they own that exchange. Come on, guys, you're smarter than that. Now, on Komodo, when you make an exchange, you make an exchange. There's nobody else going to know about it before you do it. It doesn't go in somebody else's wallet. It still stays in your wallet. You see, so nobody else can see it.
That's
So
free. That's fair. That's what we want.
if you're sending your coins to any other third party, you made a mistake already. You already made a mistake in crypto. And there are actually people on X Spaces right now telling people to get involved with third party wallets, convincing them that it's easier to use their third party solution than it is to just download a wallet and click the exe and install the wallet. I mean, how ridiculous is that? It's easier to sign up to their website, put in your email, scan your eyeballs, yada yada, than it is to just click download and click the exe if you're using Windows or whatnot. It doesn't even make sense, guys. Okay, it's easier to download your own local wallet. Right? There are actually people. I've been listening to spaces constantly. They're actually out there telling people to use non-custodial custodial wallets. They're convincing them so that they have control over their funds, right? So their company is worth something because everybody decided to use their wallet when you don't have to and you should never need to. Never need to. You never give somebody else your money. Ever. And that's the whole point of be your own bank. Not your keys, not your coins. Hey, let's get back to the old school because we're losing. We're losing, guys. This war is being lost. Pirate and Komodo are the only two coins left trying to help you. And you guys don't even want it. You guys sit there as your privacy is being eroded. And you're just giving it away.
I was wondering if those hijackers are able to operate on a decentralized system. Like, do you know anything about that?
Repeat the question.
Hijacking. You know anything about the hijacking that's been going on right now? People sending certain coins, and they're getting hijacked because they're changing the address
Really? I haven't heard that.
on the. You haven't heard
Yeah,
that?
they're spinning up keys that look similar to large accounts and substituting them in. The key is the same at the beginning and at the end, but in the middle, it's a third party key, and people are being fooled into sending their coins to the wrong key.
Yes, this is so. Well, there's two different types of attack. So what Doc is describing is address poisoning attack, and it's actually why we expanded the showing the the address to all of the characters rather than just the beginning and end. Because yeah, it's kind of trivial just to brute force an address that looks like somebody else's address. So if they basically what an attacker does is they'll get a they'll make a bunch of these fake addresses and they'll send them to accounts that they know that they see on the blockchain have received um, from an address that has the same prefix and suffix at the end. And what they try to do is that they hope somebody is not paying attention and they just copy the address from their transaction history and they click the wrong one and then they put it in and they think they're sending it to one where they're supposed to, but then they're not. So that's a big problem, especially on Ethereum chains. And you can see a lot of you ever do any blockchain analysis, you can see a lot of times where people are just airdropping like just randomly created, you know, shit ERC20s to everybody and to tons of different people in hopes to trick them into um, clicking on the wrong address sometime in the future. And then there's, an issue with that happened recently where some supply chain attack where some code will be merged in upstream from a wallet, say like some sort of math function or something, and the wallet uses that upstream dependency, but unbeknownst to the wallet creator who uses that dependency will have some sort of malicious code that switches out um, like say it detects when you're copying an address and it switches it out for the attacker's address. So when you send the transaction, even though you might have put in the right address, what actually gets sent out to the network is you sending it to the attacker's address. So those are two different ways where attackers have found to kind of trick people into sending, stealing their money.
Question,
Awesome.
Paulie.
Yeah.
What access do they use to be able to do this? I mean, I don't think I can do. I could just do it. Is it on the inside of the exchange? That's somebody on the inside of the exchange that are allowing this in, or how are they having access to do this? Because I had some Bitcoin hijacked, and it was leaving from trade org to an exchange in Hong Kong that I was trading or checking out. It was just a little bit, but it got nevertheless it got hijacked, and I was wondering, was it somebody on the inside of trade org that allowed it to happen, or how do they actually grab hold of the control of the transaction?
Well, in the case you're describing, if it's sent from, they sent from your Trade Ogre account to another exchange, it seems either, someone got a hold of your email and password, and send it themselves, or it could have been an inside job as well because they have full access. A centralized exchange has full access to all the different addresses that they allow people to deposit at. So one of those two situations.
All right,
So
very
I was
cool.
thinking,
Uh, We
wait,
we
go ahead.
got
I'm
we
sorry.
got we got to start closing, buddy. So everybody, hang out. In about 4 minutes, we are going to start the next show, which is more about pirate chain. So now that you understand why you need privacy in crypto, I hope you do. If you don't, ask questions. It's the only way you're going to learn crypto is if you ask questions. No one's going to tell you about crypto. All they're going to tell you about is the bags that they're holding. And you're not going to learn crypto from those degens out there. And you're going to learn it from people in here by asking the right questions, the real questions. Right, so stick around. We got Pirate Chain coming out, and come learn why. Pirate is our last hope. It's literally our last hope for privacy in blockchains.
So the weekly Komodo updates that we go over every week as well. Keep you guys informed of what's going on.
Yeah, if you're not keeping up with the updates, guys, you're lost. Right, stop listening to other people. You got to be here every week, listening to what's happening next. Right, because the things that are coming out for Pirate and Komodo next are going to be revolutionary.
Or
Arr!
all right, thanks guys.